Hello, I'm Paula Downey, and I'd like to talk to you about how we can all use our unique skills and our everyday work to respond to the climate and biodiversity emergency. Now, I don't like to begin on a negative note, but the simple, if inconvenient truth is that after 50 years of international negotiations, the climate and biodiversity crisis is worse now than when these talks began back in the 70s. The number of organisations signed up to climate pledges has never been higher, but on every single indicator, soil, air, water, pollution, wherever you choose to look, things are worse now than they've ever been. We are reaching and breaching critical tipping points every year. The natural systems that make life possible are collapsing faster than anyone predicted. With a new urgency, climate issues now make our nightly news. Storms, floods, wildfires, drought, starvation, not tomorrow, but right now, even as I speak. Tomorrow has become today. Some people find it hard to make the connection between these events and their lives. Some people still believe these unprecedented events have little to do with us personally. Well, that's just plain wrong. Simply by going to work every day to earn a living, we are destroying the basis of life on Earth. Alarm bells are ringing in the scientific community, who have been desperately trying to wake us up for a very long time. But most people are carrying on with life as usual and ignoring the mounting threats. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres puts it bluntly when he says, "We are digging our own graves." What if the way we're approaching the crisis is actually part of the crisis? A critical reason for our current state of affairs, and I believe one reason we are failing to address it, is that we've been taught to see the world and to engage with life in a mechanistic way. We've been taught to see the living world as a machine that we can control and predict and manage, instead of understanding that we're not in control. We are participants in a complex living system that works in a particular way and in a very different way than we've believed. The consequences have been absolutely devastating. Instead of working the way nature works, we have pitted ourselves against the living world. And we're losing. We're losing land. We're losing soil. We're losing water. We're losing ice. We're losing forests. We're losing species. We're losing the game. Because our home, planet Earth, is not a machine. It's a living system. It's alive. For 50 years, we've been taking a mechanistic, bureaucratic approach to our ecological crisis, and it hasn't worked. Top-down protocols and commitments clearly don't change living systems. Change happens when the people who create the system discover what needs to change and figure out how to change it. That's how life on Earth evolved, and that's how we humans evolved too. The data is in. People care. They really do care. They say they want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. They want to be able to look their kids and their grandchildren in the eye and say, "When the chips were down, I did everything I could to make a difference." But I also know from personal experience that people are reluctant to talk about those concerns in the workplace, the place where they could make the biggest difference. Right across the board, people feel stuck. They don't know what to do or where to begin. In fact, it was by responding to people who wanted to build a bridge between their professional lives and our ecological meltdown that we created the Climate Action Sprint. So, what's a sprint? A sprint is a time-bound, action-oriented way of working on an issue together. People from different backgrounds working alone and together in facilitated, structured bursts of time to explore ideas, identify behavioural prototypes, and test their ideas in the real world to see what works. It's a safe place to try things out. The Climate Action Sprint combines the momentum of a sprint with the principles of living systems. It's the centerpiece of a unique three-part learning and development process. The first part, Braver and Bolder, is a provocation and a conversation, an opportunity to reflect on your role at this make or break moment. The second part is the sprint itself. This is the catalyst for action, a weekly process to give you momentum and help you to identify a prototype. The marathon is a monthly peer community to support your action learning as you try things out in the real world. Through the Climate Action Sprint, we discovered something really important that's been missing: our agency, our human potential, and our power to change our system. You see, ultimately, this is a human challenge. It's a huge learning challenge, a whole system challenge, and it can't be left to the energy or sustainability folks because it belongs to all of us. Whatever your profession or your position, your work is connected to this crisis. So, what are you going to do? Our skills are not neutral. We use them for a purpose. And if we choose to, we can align our skills, ourselves, and our work with the work of the future. There's no plan or strategy on Earth that can achieve the change we need now at speed and at scale. It's time for a radical shift from top-down to a bottom-up, system-wide movement for change. Every one of us seeing ourselves as participants in a living system, working where we are to change the system that we know, all heading in the same direction, towards a livable world and a thriving planet. That's what a movement for change looks like, and you can be part of it. In fact, I believe you must be part of it. And taking part in the Climate Action Sprint will help you to begin.